Now, the beauty about football is just how passionate everyone invested in the sport is. Emotion always runs high and deep. It is the sport that pushes everyone invested in it, from the players to you, the fans, to not holding it back when it comes to expressing the emotions, whether it's happiness, utter disappointment, anger, or joy. Now, I want to bring your attention today to AFCON, the African Cup of Nations football tournament. Coaches are being fired, racism charges are being thrown, some getting suspended as well. Angry fans are storming team buses. Top political brass visiting. Countries and clubs fighting over star players. Injury concerns, massive upsets. All is happening the AFCON way of football. Its tradition of drama and surprises continues this time too. So let's get down to it. We are in the knockout stage now, and few countries that we predicted would make it so far have done so, like Morocco, Egypt, the Ivory Coast, Senegal, and Cameroon. And there have been a few surprises too, like Ghana not making it, or Nigeria reaching the knockouts for the very first time. The losses have not been taken all too kindly though, by fans or the management. The knee-jerk reactions have been volatile. Despite Ivory Coast making it to the round of 16 by just a whisker, the management sacked their coach Jean-Louis Gasset just a few days ago. This after Ivory Coast suffered a humiliating 4-0 loss at the hands of Equatorial Guinea. Now, they needed Morocco to stamp their authority on Zambia, which they did, making Ivory Coast fans erupt with joy. But fans are rather fickle. Now, don't get me wrong, fans make the sport. They bring in the money, the enthusiasm, the cheers, and well, the jeers or the boos too. But in AFCON, fans are more expressive. Following Ghana's dismal 2-2 draw with Mozambique, an angry mob decided to show their displeasure and discontent. They attacked the bus that was carrying the Black Stars as they were leaving the stadium. Furious fans first barricaded the bus, demanding to speak to the coach Chris Hughton and the players. They then proceeded to vandalize the bus. It was in fact attacked even after their first loss in the tournament. Talk about playing under immense fear and pressure. And speaking of the coach, Chris Hughton faced more stern backlash in the boardroom. The Ghana Association sent out a release saying that Chris Hughton has been relieved of his duties as head coach of the senior national team with immediate effect. In fact, the board has also gone on to sack the technical team of the Black Stars along with this. Now, the good part, Ghana, unlike Ivory Coast, waited for the team to be officially eliminated before going ahead and handing out the pink slips. It's not just Ghana who have had massive repercussions and a horrid campaign. Algeria, the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations champions, finished bottom of their group. And the coach, Belmadi, who in fact led them to that memorable campaign back in 2019, decided to part ways. And it was all done rather calmly, much unlike the other teams. Belmadi held discussions with the management, and after their 1-0 loss against Mauritania, Belmadi broke the news to his players in the dressing room that he was in fact stepping down. In fact, the Algerian Federation president said that they reached an amicable decision in all of this bitter campaign, thanked the coach for all that had happened, and decided to part ways. Fans, though, were not having any of it. They were upset and angry, so a group of Algerian fans found out where the team was staying and tried breaking into the hotel. Thankfully, they were stopped by the security personnel, and it didn't come to anything more than that. Some countries are in trouble despite going through to the knockouts, like Morocco. Their talismanic manager Walid Regragui is under fire, but from quarters outside. He was handed a 4-game ban and $5,000 post the match against Democratic Republic of the Congo. 2 matches of his ban have been suspended for the year, but the 48-year-old missed Morocco's last game against Zambia and also is set to miss their crucial knockout game against South Africa. That is unless Morocco Football Federation's appeal against this is successful. In fact, not just him, the disciplinary board at AFCON has fined both the sides $20,000 each. Morocco was fined an additional $10,000 for their fans using smoke bombs during the game. Now, what led to all of this, you'll ask? I'll tell you, the game was a tense affair. A scuffle broke out between the players of both these teams at the end of the game, and there were many incidents that took place during the match too. Reports say there were some racist slurs that were hurled, that Regragui said something racist to the captain of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And there was a lot of bad blood that shouldn't have spilled onto the football pitch. But Regragui denied it all.
In his interview, he never spoke of racism. Never. But that's when society is sick. From the moment he said he had words that I can't repeat, they went away immediately on a different color. So he must have said something racist. And it feels venomous whether it's on the Congolese or Moroccan side. There are people who are bad on both sides, unfortunately it's humans. I'm there to calm things down, and it happened nothing more than a scuffle at the end of the match. A frustrated player, a frustrated coach. It's over for me. It's time for football, there's an AFCON, and it's a party, and it's the best AFCON in history.
Well, his enthusiasm towards AFCON, towards the end there, is unfortunately not shared currently by Egypt. They are sorely missing their star player, Mo Salah. He's gone back to Europe to recover from his injury and come back as soon as possible. The move has rattled many in Egypt who have criticized Salah for leaving his side here. But Egypt boss Rui Victoria is trying to keep the peace, saying he understands the need for Salah to recover fast. But he did seem miffed by Liverpool's interference. Liverpool bosses too have spoken, saying Salah will join Egypt as soon as he gets fit and ready to play. Now, all the drama aside, though, AFCON has surely attracted the political top brass. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken made a surprise visit to the tournament and gave a rousing speech too. He said, it's great to be a small part of this year and to honor the incredible work that Ivory Coast is doing. He, in fact, is bringing in all the countries together. He also said this was building bridges between the United States and Africa. Now, the United States and the Ivory Coast. We're doing a lot of actual building of infrastructure, he says, but this is building connections between people, and sport does that as well as anything. Now, clearly, there is much to cheer and be happy about as well at AFCON. Cameroon and Gambia were part of what many consider the best football match in the history of the sport. But we won't go into the details of that. Not just yet. Best to catch up some charged up football action that's heading your way.